Good afternoon. Hope you're doing well. We'll get started here shortly. Going to be going over the market and today's plays. Yeah, it looks like both streams are up and running, so let's get started. Good afternoon. This is Ifan from the Strategic Day Trader, and this is your market wrap for October 25th, 2021. SPY up 0.5%, Qs up 1%, and the IWM also up 1%. Came into today neutral on the Q SPY and IWM. Wanted to see if we were going to get any follow through to a potential breakout failure in the Qs, and the answer is no. All right, Qs and SPY remaining bullish. Now, we didn't turn bearish because we know that the Qs have moved up and resumed the uptrend, especially the one on the weekly chart here. So it's much more likely that bearish patterns will fail in an uptrend, right? Only makes sense in order for it to continue the uptrend. Okay, so that's why I wanted to see follow through first before we turn bearish. But Qs there back up. So looking bullish still going into tomorrow. Nothing really changed from the last couple weeks. Again, really slight pullback here that we got on the Qs and SPY before making the next move. So hourly uptrend intact here. We'd have to definitely see a break of this hourly uptrend and then follow through and continuation until we can be bearish. So just remain bullish until this hourly uptrend ends. All right, let's get into the plays from today. Started off going after the pins. This was my favorite gap down. And ended up not being able to follow through on that pin. I'll show you how I played it at the open here. Kind of a 2-minute breakdown there. So this on the 5 was basically a high-low, but incorporating the 5-minute high from the second bar and then underneath. So didn't get much follow through. Came in a little bit and then went all the way back up and took out the high. That was it. Never played it again, long or short on the pin. So here's the gap. Now the issue with these gaps is that it is nice shock value, but when the move is like this, where they go from either a downtrend or this got a little bit more sideways right before the pop, and then they get this move right here. And that's where the creation of the shock comes in. The problem with these type of moves is that not as many people are able to catch them and get stuck in them. So when you have something like this where you have a nice grind and then let's say you get a gap down underneath the grind, there's much more potential for follow through because there's more people trapped. Here you limit the amount of buyers and the time that people can get in and get stuck before it gaps down against them. Okay. And so, while, yeah, this also looked like it wasn't able to quite get through support, but yeah, I mean, I'm fine with the play. I think it was a good gap at the open. That's something I want to play. Okay. There were a couple other plays that got canceled. BE was one of them. James ended up calling this, so that was pretty good. I had a call on it and then kind of took out the bottom first of where I wanted to use the stop, and then it set back up and James called it. So nice play on the BE. And then I also had a call on the QSR. So QSR, this is a gap berry. When they gap up like this and then they get sold hard, right? It's not hard to imagine the psychology of someone in this long, or maybe you've been in this situation yourself. So initially it's gapping up. You think, okay, looks good. I think they reported earnings. Looks good. Maybe you're figuring out where your targets are going to be. If you're already in it, swing or core or something, you're thinking, okay, maybe we get up to 63.20. And then once it opens, it erases the gap and actually goes negative. You see that? So if you've ever been in that position, right, what's the problem, right? Your position that you were expecting to go higher is now quickly erase that. And that's a really tough position to be in. So what you have to do is get out, right? Get out or just watch it go more against you, because a gap up shouldn't get killed like that if it was going to follow through higher. So what we do is we wait for the retracement, because it's hard for me to know on any gap up that they're going to do that right off the bat, right? It's hard for me to know, and I'm not going to venture to say, okay, let's just short the gap ups and hope they turn into a wide range red par. So what I do is I wait for this to happen first. Okay, so that longs are disappointed, shorts potentially got shaken out, because if you were in something short and you saw that it was gapping up against you at the open, you might, be looking where to cover as it comes in and be like, okay, I didn't lose that much, or got it back to break even. And then when it keeps on going, think, darn, I got to get back in. So we have shorts that potentially need to get back in. We have longs that are really disappointed with the move and looking to get out if they haven't already gotten out. So what we do is we play on this retracement back to the 20 MA there. 15-minute was a sell setup, okay, on that. So that was the play there on the QSR, okay. So waited for the 5-minute and the 2-minute to be in alignment. What I mean by in alignment is both resume a downtrend after moving up. So notice how temporarily, while we're getting that pullback on the 5 and the 15, 2 actually goes into an uptrend. Okay, higher highs and higher lows. Okay, so what I'm waiting for is this to show me that, okay, we've stopped making higher highs and higher lows, and we're going to start making lower lows and lower highs. Okay, so you can see the 2 minutes starting to flatten out. That's kind of an indication that average price has stopped moving up as much. Okay, and now average price is starting to go down, which is why the 2 minute is starting to, or the 20 MA is starting to curl over the 2 minute. So here, right, is where we get in. So once the 2 minute is starting to look lower, 5-minute is also now at that sell setup at the 20 MA as well, right there. Okay, and then that's where we're getting in. Okay, so that was that. So you can see here, that was earlier. I was just showing something when there was an alignment earlier. I was showing this in the room. That one ended up not working. So this one was the one that I said not working. This is the one that we played, the one highlighted here. So once 2 minute is in alignment with the... Now, a lot of times we do that not because that's the only way it'll work. Of course, it can work off other entries. There's other ways for it to go. It's usually because once we get that, it has a better potential of following through right away. The more time frames that are in alignment, the more traders that are looking at those time frames are going to take action. But this actually took a long time to get going. So we did sit through all of this. So not the most fun, of course, sitting through all of that, waiting for this to get going. But finally in the afternoon did get going. There was no reason either to really trail this or anything, to get out of it early. It wasn't really doing anything wrong. But it was nice in this case that, there wasn't a lot of stuff that came in this afternoon. Market was so strong. A lot of the gap downs, a lot of the weak items either went sideways or moved up a little bit. So yeah, this I think was going to go lower regardless of the market. And so glad that worked out. Okay, I like this gap berry strategy a lot. I haven't played as I did in the last couple of years. Also not looking out for them as much, but this one was so nice and such a high quality one that, had to be played. It was hard to ignore. Okay. All right. And we got, in this environment, I just wanted to mention a lot of these things, that are moving a lot. It's really not a bad idea to focus on these. I totally missed out on this XELA today. Wouldn't be surprised if it's gapping up tomorrow, because that's what we've been seeing. What was the, it wasn't the MNKD, was it? I don't think it was. No, it wasn't the MNKD. There was another, one of these like low price ones that are gapping up a big amount the next day. They're hard to deal with. I think the BKKT also went a bit today. Oh yeah, went up a lot. And so yeah, if you can get involved with them during the day, I think on the XLA you can play it as a level 2 or a breakout. Yeah, it's not a bad idea to watch these. These are moving a lot, and really what you're playing for is big reward to risk. Okay, I just wanted to make note of that. It's hard. I think it's not that easy, especially you kind of know or have a pretty set style. Something like this, it's hard to know where this is, how far this is going to go because you have all this resistance from the previous downtrend. But just something to note, as we move forward, there's going to be kind of a lot of this stuff, I think. So just keep an eye out for that. Right now, I'm not doing a good job taking advantage of, but just something to keep in mind because the opportunities are pretty big on these things. Okay. All right. So as we kind of start to hone in on those, I'll let you know kind of how I'm going to be getting involved in them. Okay. All right. That's going to do it for today's market wrap. Hope you did well today. We'll be back at it tomorrow. Have a good evening.